Hello and welcome, guys, to Bootcamp or UT Bootcamp. Kind of made this name up on the fly, didn't we, Flack? We really
Yes, we
brainstormed
did.
hard on this one, didn't we?
Well, actually, we can give all credit for that to Shelley because I came over and we were talking to her, and I said, Shelley said, we don't really call players noobs and stuff like that. What can we do nice? And so that was Shelley's idea, so I loved it.
I think we came up with Noob Camp from the other UT players. Noob Camp is what they were favouring the most.
Well, that's because the players that you talk to are all experienced pros, and so of course, the new players and the people who just came back.
Oh, do we have some technical problems, Flack?
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. Yeah. So the people who just picked up UT for the first time, and apparently there's quite a few of them, and also the people who played UT in the old times and they had their kids and everything, and now they want to jump back in. They're like, well, what's going on here? These people are really good.
Indeed, and this is what this whole thing is that we're going to try and help new players get adjusted to arena FPS, and we're going to start off with some Instagib action. I'm going to try and join an Instagib game. There's a TDM game going on now, which I'm just going to jump in. We've got Flack and we've got White Gumby that are going to be doing all the QA stuff. So if you've got questions in the chat and you want to ask me or you want to ask them some questions, just chuck them loads of questions in the Twitch chat. And basically, we're going to be starting off with Instagib because I think it's the best way to introduce new players. Like, you don't have to worry about picking up weapons. It's instantly gratifying to kill somebody, and you learn some of the core fundamentals of how to actually play, such as hit scan weapons, which is, a huge deal in Unreal Tournament. So it also it will teach you how to avoid hit scan, and it's best to play a team version of this as well if you're a new player and you're wanting to get into Unreal Tournament. You don't want to really play deathmatch, otherwise you're going to have 10 angry guys trying to shoot you. And I'm going to look really bad on the stream now. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. My computer just melted. It's been doing a lot of work over the last 24 hours, rendering off stuff, and I think it had enough of life. It needed to die.
That's it. We've been keeping you busy. That's why.
Well, you have, but I like being busy, so it's a good thing to be busy with Unreal Tournament. But let's start shooting things.
Jacob had a question in the chat. He wanted to know. He has a G502 mouse, and he wanted to know for UT, should he go for a lower sensitivity or a higher sensitivity?
So it's all about your personal preference, but it depends on your play style as well. So if you're a hit scan player such as myself, I use quite a low sensitivity because I find that that's where my strongest suit lies. So my sensitivity is 2.1 in game, and I use 400 DPI. But I have turned it up over the years as I've played and adapted to different game styles. So I've turned it up for a number of reasons, because rockets and flak require a little bit higher sense when you're in those close range fights. So you don't want to be caught too off guard. And just basically the experience of years of playing has taught me it's best to actually have a good balance of mouse sensitivity. You don't want something too heavily reliant even on your preferred sort of play style. But it also takes a good couple of weeks to get used to any new sensitivity that you get used to. Don't try and keep changing it once you set it. Just give it time, let it settle in, and then make a decision if you like it or not.
Well, that's a really good point, because I know a lot of people, especially if they're playing at a LAN or something like that, and they see these players who are really good, and they're like, oh, look at the low sensitivity, and then they decide to go over and try it, and they're like, well, this doesn't work for me, and they switch right away from it. But it does take a long time to get used to when you're used to playing with a real high twitch setting, and then you scale it back a bit for the hit scan. That you really need to give it some time and give it some practice, and you'll be amazed at how much better you play in the hit scan with the lower sensitivity.
Indeed you will. And you'll notice how much I'm actually sucking in Instagib. It's been a while since I've actually played some. And not to make excuses, it's just that, when you play Instagib, it's all about how you avoid that Instagib rifle. And there's a lot of guys in here who are actually doing some really good stuff. The way they're ducking, the way they're sliding, the way they're constantly moving about. No real big exaggerated dodge movements, which is exactly how you should be playing Instagib. As soon as you see
So-
somebody, you just want to face off with them and give them the strafe war of their life. ASDF spam.
So why did you want to play Instagib before you showed people other weapons?
Well, I think it's the fundamentals, really. It's like you learn how to dodge against primarily one of the biggest damage dealers. Sniper rifle, shock rifle, link gun secondary, minigun secondary, primary even, sorry. So it gives you a lot of good practice of avoiding hit scan weapons, and they're the most difficult to avoid. Projectiles can be very easy to avoid if you position yourself correctly. So if you've got distance or you've got height against a projectile player, then you're going to be a-okay. But with hit scan, it's useful in every situation. So learning to avoid it is a huge skill. And I think a lot of players who started up playing UT gravitated towards Instagib because it was the first thing, you know, that got them into the game. It was instantly gratifying. I came from CS into 2K4, 2K3 even, and you know, I didn't enjoy it at first until I found some ICTF games, and then I started to really enjoy it because I could see progress. I could see myself improving, starting to gradually get on top of the servers with the scoreboards just through aim alone. And so that was really important. I think that's why Instagib is such a good starting point for new UT players. And I know it doesn't have too much depth to it, but you don't want to add too much depth to any game at the start, really. You want to come in very gradually and just enjoy it and have fun.
Like you said, it's a great way to learn movement and stuff like that, because you know, I come from when we first started playing back in the first UT, that was all we played was, you know, because I picked up the other weapons and all, the only thing I could figure out how to use was the flak. So it was great to be able to go in and get really good at one weapon. And when I started playing, you know, with all weapons, I always went right for the hit scan. And it's if you can be good at hit scan, you're going to be good at this game.
Yeah, it's important when you're learning to play Instagib as well, is that a lot of your aiming is actually done with your W, S, A, and D key, not so much with your mouse. Mouse should be only used for quick, sharp movements, or somebody that's moving very fast and that you're going to miss the opportunity to actually land in a shot. So a lot of the time, you'll be standing just strafing back and forth and keeping a very steady aim. I've mentioned this in one of my guides on my YouTube channel actually before, and it takes a while to get used to, but once you get it, you'll be hitting like a pro in no time.
We have a question from the chat. Poi Palami would like to know, how do you avoid the hit scan shots? Dodges are bad.
Dodges are bad. Against experienced players, dodges are really, really bad. Against new players, not so much actually. They can be quite useful. But basically, ASDF spam, you know, just basically stutter stepping your style, as I'm doing on the stream right now. It's actually can be quite difficult, even though you just hit me. Commentator's curse, eh? But basically, you just want to wait until they do a movement that's easier to hit before shooting as well. You're kind of waiting for their mistake. But strafing back and forth is the best way. Try and mix it up. Try and do unique patterns as well with your keyboard. Don't just go left, right, left, right, left, right. Add some right, 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 left, left, left. Even stopping for a brief second. It'll blow people's minds, especially experienced players, because they're not used to people stopping. And also,
because
I was going to say, also sliding is really, at the moment in the current build, it's really, really good in Instagib.
how do people perform a slide if they're playing?
So whatever your crouch key is, and if you're moving in a certain direction, just press your crouch key and you should just automatically slide. You have to have a bit of momentum. If you don't, you'll just crouch. Though there is an option to change that option as well. So if you don't like that feature, you can change it in the settings.
And we saw you running across the walls there. How did you manage that one?
Right. So to wall run, dead simple. You just basically run up to a wall and hold down space.
Oh, and the end.
Wall running is very easy.
I'm not used to seeing you so low on the scoreboard.
I think it's because I'm talking. I'm gonna sort that out for the next round. But there's some good Instagib players in here. But wall running.
Okay, wall running. Sorry.
Yeah, so for good wall running, you need to hit the right angle. So you got to dodge it at the most velocity that you can get to get a really good wall run that's fast and fluid. A lot of people find it actually difficult in Unreal Tournament because of the way you have to dodge into a wall. It's not so intuitive compared to other games where you just basically run and jump onto it, and it's easy, and you get, that does work in Unreal Tournament, but you're not going to get necessarily the fastest, most useful wall jump out of it, or wall run.
So Xerix brought up that he uses mouse 2 for jump the way that a lot of people did in the old days. What do you use for your jump?
I use spacebar. Just always got used to that key. Though in Shoot Mania I did use mouse 2 actually, just because you need to.
Yeah, same here.
In Shoot Mania.
Shoot Mania and Tribes.
Yeah. I never really played Tribes that much. I played Tribes Ascend a little bit because there was a lot of hype around that at the time. But I didn't enjoy it so much. I liked the speed of CTF though. That was pretty cool, but not much of a fan. But Shoot Mania, you had to use right mouse because of how you would activate your sprint mechanic in that game, and it was the quickest way. So you do like a little mini jump and then speed off. But anyways, we're talking about UT here.
Shoot Mania was a good game.
3, 2.
I certainly enjoyed it. Yeah, it's basically what Shoot Mania did right is that it was basically Instagib, but again it just lacked depth later on for competitive play. But when you're starting off again, that's kind of what you want. Lots of people jumped and gravitated to Shoot Mania because of that one reason. It's just that they didn't stay that long because they got kind of bored of the game mode eventually. But luckily,
this level is going to look familiar to people who have been around UT for a while. This is Deck, and this is definitely one of the most fun games to play with Insta on.
Yep. And on this particular map, you want to hold the top and be really lame, and basically make your hitbox as small as possible by just holding back at the top, waiting for people's heads to poke out. And basically this is how you'd normally play in a duel. You just want to be the smallest target as possible and be really lame. I know it's really lame, but this is how you win games. Use as
So
much
you
cover
mean
as you
hold
possibly-
the very top?
Yeah, hold on, especially on deck. Like even in normal weapons in TDM, one of the primary tactics is to hold the top sniper. Usually you rush it at the very start because there's no armors up, and if you can control it, you can control a large portion of deck.
So Toxic is in here, and he asked, how do you change the ready modes? How do you flash it and make it slide?
I actually don't know how you make it slide, but I just keep clicking until it goes rainbow colors. That's all I know. But there's some other keys that you can press to make it slide about.
There are some other keys, and Pete doesn't want to share them, but I'm pretty sure one of them might be the letter M, like Michael. I think if you press that one after you have to get the rainbow going. I'm looking over here at White Gumby, and he's got a little smirk on his face, so he might be able to help
already.
there.
Like I've spammed a load of keys while I've been waiting. I've found nothing. I'm waiting for something really crazy to come up. I've seen Get Wrecked as well.
Yeah, that's Pete's special. Get Wrecked is definitely Pete Nub special.
He seems like a meme troll. I mean, what happened to Bob Life? I mean, I'm surprised that model hasn't been officially released. It's by far the best.
He just said it's super secret.
I'm expecting that to be like an awesome reward system later on in life.
So a little secret on this map for newer players and for people who like to spam hallways. There are two really great hallways down here that if you kind of hang out at the end at the right time, it's a good place to get your multi kills.
Definitely, there's a lot of good spam corridors on deck. It can be an absolute nightmare if you keep holding those areas. I'm doing actually quite well at the top here. I'm just chilling out, relaxing, looking really lame.
Yeah, you've been alive for quite a while.
Oh, Flack, why did you say that? I just got shot. Don't jinx me, woman.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
I'm only joking. Oh,
So, Boy Palami would like to know: is there some team strategy involved in Team Insta, or do you play it just as if you were just a regular deathmatch?
There is strategy, but it's very limited because it all revolves around holding the best positions. So, like I said, the top of this map on deck is one of the strongest positions. You have so much line of sight advantage, and of course a very small hitbox to hit. As you can see, the red team are now trying to take advantage of us getting wiped there, so they're actually trying to take that top ground. Now, if you've got a frag lead already, essentially you don't need to go outside in the middle of the map. So you don't need to be out here at all. So you can just hold in the corridors and let your opponents come to you, and then you choke them out again. And that's a very unique and strategy that's put out in TDM games. So as soon as you've got, like, say, a 10 frag lead and you lose control of the top, you just don't poke your heads out, and then you force your opponents to push into the 100 area or the 50 area where you and your teammates can gank them. That's the
And
usual strategy.
And that's also a good thing for new players too. Is before they're ready to, because there's so many things going on in UT. You know, you have your armor and your power ups and everything, and so just to be able to play and not really have to worry about timing things and people camping on certain places, and you just know that where people are going to be. Exactly.
I mean, that's the number one thing, is knowing where anybody's going to be in any sort of game mode. I mean, in 1v1, that's like, once you get to a certain level in 1v1, you can pretty much read somebody's movements 90% of the time without even seeing them, because how they move around the map, what items they need to get back into in a situation or a game, or where they need to cut you off. It's very rare that a pro player won't know where their enemy is at all times.
So after this match, we wanted to talk about a little bit about your new video series that you're starting up, UT Tips.
Oh yeah, sure. So in fact, there's a forum post actually in the Emerald Tournament forums, which is quick tips and any suggestions, any things that you guys know already, any experienced players, any noobs, or any questions that people would like to ask. Basically go in there and suggest something for the quick tips thing, because there's so many things that I could overlook, and a lot of pro players do actually. One of them was today, FlickSwitch suggested something to me, which was picking up items and using the sound cues and stuff like that. And you know, I totally overlooked that. It's such a really good topic to talk about, like in certain situations why you wouldn't want to pick up vials when you're holding a certain area, etc. And in arena FPS games, you don't even really think about that when you play them. You don't think about the sound cues that you're giving off when you pick up a weapon, and you can do unique tricks and traps by simply just dropping your weapon, picking up, say, your rocket launcher again, and then hearing the rocket launcher being picked up, but they're going to question where that sound's coming from, because it's a rocket launcher and it's coming from the flak area, and it makes no sense. So it can really throw off an opponent that is so used to how the current meta works when people pick up stuff.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, so since we're doing hit scan today, I think we're going to take a look after this match. We're going to take a look at your hit scan one. Is that what we're going to look at today?
Yeah, we can do, definitely. That's actually
perfect.
A very good idea. And we'll do
so
that.
how do you? So what happens when you fall in the goo at the bottom there? Now you see a guy in there. Now he's just a fish in a barrel right now. But if you fall in there and you have somebody that's following you, how do you get out quickly?
Well, it depends on the situation, because sometimes if you've got an armor stack, getting out can be actually a disadvantage, because when you're getting out, it's very predictable, it's very easy to hit. It's the easiest time as somebody's getting out of the acid pit. Sometimes it's better just to stay in the acid pit and dodge like crazy, because the hitbox is really hard to read, more so than you think. So I like to stay in the acid. If I've got the armor stack to do it, if I haven't, then obviously I want to leave the pit as quickly as possible. Number one reason I hate deck the most is because of the acid. Absolutely hate this map with a passion, even though it's one of the most old school game maps in the world. But I don't know, it just, in 2K4 I loved it, and everybody hated it in 2K4, and every other game I hated it. I don't know why, I'm weird. But I'm not.
Well,
the only one in that
I
boat.
guess it is one of those love or hate maps. I mean, this has always been one of my favorites. Whenever we were, back in doing duels, this was always the one that I chose, because especially when you're using a flak, if you get somebody in a hallway with a flak, then they're dead. Same thing with if you get in this corridor with the sniper rifle, and you have quite an advantage if you're in that corner.
So I want to kill this guy first before I get out. Well, I'm not going to make it out. I died. I was just swimming in the acid there.
That's okay.
I was trying to show
Go for a nice
live
little
example.
swim in the green water.
It didn't go so well. But yeah, so when you're swimming in the acid, just try and attack your opponent, try and scare them away, try and kill them before trying to get out of the acid is usually the best tip. Unless you're too low that you can't afford to. But the best tip is just don't fall into the acid.
Yeah, that's easy for you to say.
I think I fall in it more than anybody else. I think I'm just naturally gifted in that one. No.
So, and right now, there
God.
seems to be an awful lot of Insta games going on. So if you're a new player and you want to give it a try, but you're a little nervous, just come on in and play this. You don't have to worry about blowing yourself up with the rocket or a redeemer. You can just come in here. You have one weapon. The only thing you have to worry about is falling in the acid.
Indeed, I mean, seriously, play some ICTF. It's the best way to get involved with Instagib. There's loads of people that play games, and they're all pretty damn friendly as well. And that's how I got into Instagib, in fact, into Unreal Tournament even, sorry. Because it's such an easy... Oh, sorry, go on, Flack.
It is just amazing how friendly and welcoming the community is. If you go in and say, "Hey guys, I'm new," they will absolutely take it easy on you. They'll help you along, and they'll answer your questions and stuff. It's a really helpful community.
Definitely so. I mean, I know a lot of players that have been, playing this game for years and years, and they get back into the game and they're like, oh, how do I get my config right? How do I get my settings right? And they're good players, but there's a lot to learn just about going through all the settings and getting your customized controls like they used to have. And players will often let the other players remote access their computers just to do their configs, because it's so trusting, this community, which is a great thing, really. And a lot of pro players actually are really rubbish at their own configs. They're really rubbish at their own configs. Like, you wouldn't believe it.
Well, the guys make fun of me because I used to have every single key on my keyboard bound. If not with just map stuff and commands, saying incoming left, incoming right. Also the voice chat that they had, so I could actually taunt people while I was playing.
That guy's wrecking me. But yeah, that's lots of people still want to have their quick binds for their taunts, for the smileys and stuff. Do the cooler smileys. But that's the #1 reason why people want to learn how to use their configs. And also just to get better FPS. I mean, everybody's still trying to find the hidden FPS commands, and most of them are actually pretty much covered in the options, to be honest. There's very limited that you can do in the console to actually improve your FPS.
I'm going to let Gumby speak up. He's been sitting here quietly answering people in the chat. I'm going to let him ask the next question.
Go for it. Oh, by the way, White Gumby is, I believe you're the lead QA now. Is that correct? Oh, he can't hear me.
There he is.
That is correct, David. So looking at LADAM 191, new to the UT series, eventually wants to play duels against reasonable level opponents. What would you say is the best way to practice?
So from a very new perspective, if you're completely new, it's best not to play duel really at all. If you're trying to still get used to the weapons and the maps, that's probably the best thing to start with. Learning the maps and learning the weapons and learning how to do the basic avoidance stuff, like we're doing here in Instagib. That kind of stuff comes first. After you've kind of regimented that into you a little bit and you're starting to play duels, basically you want to learn how to run items. You want to know how to get the 100 armor, how you take away the 50 armor, and keep rotating those armors and timing them. Now, timing can be very difficult for some players. Some players can find it very easy, but I think this UT has been the easiest it ever has been with the timers, because it's 30 seconds to 1 minute. So getting around to the armors has never been easier, and it's relatively straightforward. But there's a couple of guides that I actually have to make on that front, on armors and when to get them, when to grab them, when not to grab them, because there's so much sort of depth in that armor control and how you position yourself for them and when to get them and when not to get them. I think is probably the most important thing that you can learn as a new player. But from a very basic level, map knowledge of knowing where the weapons are, where the armors are, basically good avoidance from standard bio, know how to position yourself against a rocket launcher, etc. But it all depends on where you're starting from right now. I mean, are you experienced in arena FPS, or is this the first time that you've ever played one before? Because I could probably whack in some duels at some point. Did that guy? I'm not sure if I just killed them with that both. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, I would love to see a video on timing power-ups. I remember when you and Hypno were here, it was just amazing. You guys would be at the power-up the second it spawned, and I think if I came across you guys, I would get wrecked. I didn't even want to even attempt to duel you guys.
Well, it's funny because me and Hypno will not even think about those armors, but it's just so dug into our brains. We know when to turn up for those certain power-ups, and we also know that reading the situations beforehand, like, oh, I've been hurt by Hypno, I can't go to that next 100 armor because that's where he's going to be at this time, and if I go there, I'm going to get wrecked. And you really got to think of how you position yourself for that fight. You could probably attempt to try and steal that armor away from him, but you've got to do it in a very clever way, because it's, Hypno is like the best player in the world right now, so. And that ain't an easy thing to do, to try and trick him off of an armor when he's already got control.
LADM 191 said that he doesn't really have a lot of experience with UT. He's been playing CS. This is his first arena FPS, but he is learning the map. So I think he's probably, being a CS player, he's probably on his way to being good at duels.
CS players have a great aim. That's facts. Like, as soon as they hit an Instagib server as well, they're gonna be wrecking a lot of people. And duel, I recommend that you try and gravitate your style to a hit scan play. So if you ever watch me play, in fact, I need to start streaming a lot more duel games, because I've been lacking in doing that. But every time I duel, I'm a very defensive hit scan player. I like to sit back and snipe people at range, and I think that kind of style of play will suit a lot of CS players as well. So that could be a really good starting point, and I need to really think of how I would get the one-on-one dueling going, because it is quite difficult to gravitate on a starting point. I mean, the best way to do it is for me to actually play you. And feel free to add me to your friends list. Just add Zacubus onto your Epic Game stuff. And as soon as I play somebody, I can understand exactly what they're doing wrong, how to go about changing or working on certain areas of your game as well. And
Oh, that's a great invitation.
I mean, I do. There is a series that I actually had started on the Unreal Tournament channel called Countermeasure, where I look at people's gameplay and I analyze it and I talk over it. And I really would love more actual duels to talk over, because I hardly get any submissions for that. Sometimes players do come up to me and they go, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed, I don't want other people to see that, and I'm more than happy to do private videos for people, but it can take me a while to get them done, because obviously I've got to do other Unreal Tournament stuff in between. So if if you don't
Yeah,
mind that,
we keep you pretty busy these days.
yes, you do. But I thoroughly enjoy it, Flack. I mean, this is the best job in the world. I mean, I play Unreal Tournament all day and then make Unreal Tournament videos all day and get on live streams of Unreal Tournament. It's just crazy to think that I do this for a job.
And he drinks tea while he's doing it all.
I do.
Because he's posh.
I'm not posh. I just sound posh. It's just British.
Well, so duels is something that I used to do. I haven't played duels in a long time. I was never really good at duels, but one thing that it really did for me was help my DM and my TDM game and my CTF game, because when you're playing with duels and you have to concentrate so much, you just naturally get better. Even if you're not doing well against your opponent, you're still getting a lot better at the game, and it really helped my skills.
That's very, 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 very true, Flack. That's the truest statement ever, because as soon as you learn Duel, if you learn it to a relatively good level, you will improve across the board on every game mode in Unreal Tournament. Like, it teaches you every foundation of skill that you need to learn. How to position yourself, how to time, how to strategize certain situations, how to avoid certain weapons in certain situations. It covers so many different situations and all of the situations. And you can see them much clearer in a duel than, say, playing a CTF game where you've got 5 other guys attacking you at the same time. In that scenario, it might pop up, but you might not be able to recognize it so much.
So one other thing that we would love for people to try, new people as well, is before this live stream, we showed a short video of an overview of Showdown, which is one of our newer game types, which is a lot of fun, and it's a lot about map control. And so you had a little overview at the beginning, and at the end we'll play it again. But we'll be posting all of these on our YouTube channel, so everybody can take a look and learn some UT.
Yeah, I'll be definitely playing the overview again. I'm going to do probably a follow-up video to that as well at some point, just going over different ways you can approach a map and how the tactics work out. Because a lot of people that play Showdown don't realize that there's actually quite a bit of depth to it. They think, oh, you just pick the same 6 spawns over again, the most preferred spawns, but it's how you work your way around those spawns and how you go at different angles to attack your opponents, and it can lead to some really interesting mechanics in play. And I totally blew it off at first, thinking it was, it wasn't anything special, and then it suddenly grew on me, and it was like, wow, this is getting intense. And what it does, Showdown, is that it's not all about mechanical skill. It's about strategizing with your team beforehand in each round, and you got to be quick with your communications, and it can be really fun and really engaging in a different way that I haven't really seen in Unreal Tournament so much, because it's all mechanical, it's all reactionary most of the time. There's not much forward strategy. It's kind of like, he's got 100, okay, so this is what my next move is, and you kind of programmed into doing that. But in Showdown, you can really talk through a unique play and strategy. And
how about we take a look at your first quick tip video? Is that all right if you jump out on this one?
Sure, I can.
So I'm looking at the chat, and I see he said he tries Showdown, but he prefers TAM. TAM was a game type, Team Arena Master, that was in UT 2004, and it was super fun. It kept UT 2004 going for a long time. The game just stuck around for such a long time, and that was one of the reasons. I'm starting to find that I like Showdown more than TAM. Maybe we can also do a video, about some of the different strategies in Showdown as a follow-up to the one you've just done.
What I find Showdown is good for is that if it feels, it's weird because it's a lot slower paced than you might think as well, because there's only, say, 1 rocket launcher, so people can't be all spammed by 3 rocket launchers. So it's a lot less spammy across the board. It's a lot easier for new players to understand and learn a map quicker, because they see the overview, they see that they're next to a rocket launcher, they can get from A to B, and you can explain it to them relatively easily. You go, oh, if you take the rocket launcher, you can go to here and here, which is great. And then you got you've got a great entry level on a noob level, and then you've got a great advanced level later on. But we haven't had really any Team Showdown maps as of yet, so hence the mapping competition that's going on as well. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with TAM. It's just, I feel it becomes more of a positionary game and all about aim, and that you don't necessarily have to use all the weapons in your range when you have them all to your advantage anyway.
Right, and also feedback. I think Matt has a thread in the forums about Showdown, and he loves to hear feedback, and he's been really great about implementing some of the stuff from the community suggested, and the game type is really starting to come along.
Yeah. It's funny because there are no teams actively playing it at the moment either, so nobody's really thought about how to do advanced strategies. I've got a small group of players that I play with quite regularly, and we played the crap out of Showdown when it first came out, and we started developing strategies and paths, and it can get really intense when people are reading your brain like 4 moves ahead. It's like a game of chess that goes absolutely insane, and you're just like, how did you even figure I was going to do that out? That's crazy. And you can really appreciate those kind of moments, but how is it going to translate in terms of a competitive spectator sport? Don't know yet. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna see what it's like, and if it's not the game mode, then you guys at Epic are already making loads of game modes. Flag Run is insanely fun. I think, oh man, Flag Run right now is probably my favorite game mode.
Yeah, we're having a good time in the playtest too. We really can't wait till everybody gets their hands on it. So last weekend there were the ICTF finals. You're going to be doing a follow-up video on that this weekend, correct?
Yes, I've got so many videos to do. So I've got the ESL 1v1 US Cup recap, and then I've got to do the ICTF recap as well. And hopefully I'm going to grab and do that over this coming weekend. I've also got to film some more stuff for the quick tips because I'm doing one on long range combos at the moment. So I need to get some filming done on that as well.
Okay. It looks like for a future stream, some of the people are asking just, how they find games and where they talk to. Maybe we can talk about, the ICTF pugs and IRC. Remember IRC, folks? We're still using it sometimes. So, so maybe we can just let people know where they can find these games and how they can join in and play with the community.
The best place to find games right now is Discord. So, in fact, I'm going to link it in the chat right now.
Excellent.
So basically there's a pug bot. You can sign up to the pug bot. There's loads of experienced players in here that are more than happy to help any new players get involved with Unreal Tournament. Most of them are incredibly friendly. And basically this is the new IRC. It's got team. This is what we're using.
There
right
we
now.
go. I'm very happy to hear that.
This is the future. It really is. Like, this is exactly what we needed like 5 years ago. But yeah, I've just pasted a link in Discord. This is the UT4 Pugs channel. Feel free to join it. You can join via your internet browser with that link, but I recommend downloading the app because it's more reliable and you can use it on your phone as well, so you can always keep in touch with people. It's extremely handy. Extremely handy. And the guys that are running this channel are phenomenally awesome in every single way. So I was trying to find the quick tips video. I got a little bit carried away.
That's okay. We just started talking. So these quick tips. So you've gotten a few of them done. We're going to be releasing them probably maybe one a week or one every other week, depending on how much. And when we do the stream again, the bootcamp stream again, we'll be showing another one. But this week we're covering hit scan.
So yes, we're covering. The first week was the sniper rifle quick tips. The next one is the pull function. They don't have a particular order. They don't follow any form of suit. It's just that if I find out a cool quick tip that I think could go down in a video, that's kind of where it comes from. So that's usually my way of thinking. It's a bit erratic, but all these little tips should hopefully help out newer players. And I can't remember where I actually put my finished raws at the moment. This is funny. I've got 4 hard drives to go through. I'll find it. I'll find the file. I was going to prepare this, but
do you know the name of it?
I do. Yeah. Come on. It's somewhere around here. No, it's not that. It's because I've got I've got my like rendering hard drives that I usually put it on first so I can get it off quick, and then I have my storage ones, and then that's where I lose it because I've got to go, oh, it's done. Yeah, it's finished with job done. But now I'm completely lost.
So another person to add is for the new players is White Gumby, and you can add Flack too. I usually play on the weekends, and you can.
Drop the
lost
mic.
my voice. Oh no! Mic drop.
You're
We're out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll play on the weekends. White Gumby plays. So yeah, if you add us both, we'll be happy to play with you.
Awesome. Do. I really can't find this one. I found every other one. It's gone missing.
Well,
my hard drive.
We're breaking Shelly's office.
My
We're
face
so
is
bad.
falling apart. This must be the most entertaining stream ever.
What we can do is after the stream is over, we can that one is actually live. We can put the link up in the stream right now. Can you go to Unreal Tournament YouTube? We'll put the link up so people can check it out.
I'm gonna find it. I've got the pool one. I've got that one. I'm just trying to find the avoid hit scam one. Damn it. Video assets. No. Swag. No.
Oh my goodness, look, there's, oh, hi. I remember you.
Boo-doo-boo.
So we have one of the people who used to be in the Gears forum is joined, so nice to see him here.
Ah. Very loyal to Epic Games then, coming back for some UT. It's got to be in here somewhere. Has to be. Ah. I feel as if I want to render it off again now. Right, well, I'm going to show off the link pull video that I've already done as well. Why not spoil them?
Okay, if you have that one handy, just pull that one up. But give people a minute though so they can watch the quick tip.
Yeah, that's true.
And Sulaco he just offered up his services too for some training. To be honest, that is how I think most of us learned how to play UT. It was having people in the community just see that we're new players and we were struggling and offer to give us a hand.
Sulaco is an incredibly good player as well. It's kind of the person you want teaching you how to play Duel. So definitely, if you're in the chat, take him up on that offer. Like that's exactly how we all learned. Nobody really knew how it was done, but we would all play together and play lots together, and we'd learn these things together. And now that lots of us know, we need to sort of help out the newer generation that are trying to get into arena FPSs, because, you know, they're kind of a niche now. They're kind of gone out of fashion, and be really cool to bring them back.
Yes, and we need your help, and just share with your friends. And I think we're going to wind it up here, and we'll wind it up with your link pool video. Are we going to be able to show that?
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay, so we're gonna wind it up here with the link pool video. We will be doing this again. We really appreciate everybody stopping by. If you head to the forums and check on Facebook, we're Facebook/Unreal Tournament. On Twitter, we're UT Game. We will be posting links to all of these videos so you guys can check them out. And also links to the forum so you guys can come say hello and join in the conversation. And we're really happy to see so many new people pop in. We had a whole swarm of new players stop by yesterday after watching some videos online. So we're really happy to see the community grow. We really want to give you guys a hand and help you learn to play the game, and so you can come play with us and play with Zacubus, and someday kick Zacubus's butt.
I think they already just did that at Instagib. They absolutely haven't me. I've lost my old Instagib aim, but yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in. It's really awesome, actually. I think that was pretty cool doing that. Very unique, very different, and be really cool to bring out more new players out there. And there's loads of people actually in the chat now saying, I'm also streaming Duels every day. If you want something to learn, tune in, Viayu, definitely a great Swedish player, up and coming Swedish player. Check him out as well. He's got a smooth, calming voice that keeps you relaxed while you're playing your own game. Like the Swedes do that. They just sound cool all the time.
I hear a bromance going on there. What do you think?
There is a little bit. There is a bit.
Absolutely.
But anyways, I'm going to sign off now with the quick tip video. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on the Bootcamp. A mechanic that might be new to many is the pull feature that has been added to the link gun. This yanks your opponents towards you, disrupting their movement or preventing them from escaping. To use the pull, simply hold down secondary fire, and while the link beam is active, tap mouse 1. This function can be extremely useful in the right situations, for example pulling an opponent before you can pick up an objective or a power up, or if your opponent is trying to disengage, pulling them back into the fight. However, overusage of the pull function can be detrimental to your overall damage output. Although each successful pull will do some damage, the weapon needs a second to cool down before it can either damage or pull somebody again. It's also important to note that each time you use this pull function, you'll use an additional 3 rounds of ammo. It's often best to only attempt to pull if the situation really requires it, otherwise damage output should be your #1 priority.